Hello everybody, let's talk about reading and Dolly Parton. There are a number of avenues to pursue in search of your life's passion. Education and travel offer outstanding opportunities, but each have their limitations as well. Formal education can be too narrow in scope and impersonal in nature. The same education is offered to every student, and the ability to delve deeper and broader into subject areas may not be afforded. Travel, likewise, can be limiting. There are some places in the world that cannot easily be reached because of the transportation avenues are not available. The cost of travel, too, can be prohibitive for most, especially in the high-end countries of Europe and Asia. Finally, traveling can take an exorbitant amount of time, not only the time navigating through airports and roadways, but having the fortunate ability to have the vacation time to be away from school or work and not have any other responsibilities. Reading has had a profound effect on a nation's citizens for generations. From the time one is born, they are read to by their parents or their loved ones who participate in the reading of that children's life, and to learn about the life that they will lead. Children's stories tend to be about hope, idealism, and goodness. Although the child cannot read, they understand through the way in which a person converses and relays that story. They can see the vivid and striking pictures conveying beauty with colorful backgrounds, but they can also hear how that picture comes alive by the person who's reading that story. When an adult reads in a soothing and positive voice, the listening becomes captivation for the child. The story mesmerizes the child, and reading becomes not only a bonding experience, but an experience of learning and growth as well. As a child starts to read on their own, books often illustrate an idealized version of life. Children's stories are often about children experiencing something that's new to them. Whether it's a flower or running or swimming, they're introduced to the many activities and splendor that awaits them during their childhood. Children look forward to reading because they have a natural inquisitive nature. One of them shows a person who saves a town because he saved the water from overflowing. That's the type of story we want our children to grow up and emulate. If you have done more to promote and encourage reading than Dolly Parton, and she created a truly outstanding legacy of her life. Here's her story. She was born in 1946, shortly after my mother. She was one of 12 children. Her family lived in a one-room cabin. They were very poor, as most other people in her county were. However, the Partons were a musical family, and music would become the beacon of Dolly Parton's life. When Dolly graduated from high school, she set off to Nashville. Success was not immediate, and she turned to composition to make ends meet, writing songs for Hank Williams Jr., among others. Then a few of her songs hit the charts, and shortly thereafter she was asked to join the Porter Wagoner Show, which was a highly rated television show. That was a catalyst for her career. She went on to enjoy success for the next 8 years on that show. She wanted more, though. She wanted to be a superstar, and a solo career was an opportunity to do so. Shortly after, she left Porter Wagoner, and she had some of her biggest hits, including I Will Always Love You, which Whitney Houston later re-recorded and made into one of the highest-selling records of all time in any genre. Her solo success allowed her to branch out into new directions, with Hollywood as her target. Her first movie was 9 to 5, which became a tremendous success. Then she received an Academy Award nomination for the title song, one of 2 Academy Award nominations she's received. That movie was followed by others, along with a string of songs and albums that went gold or platinum. These were the glory years of her musical career. But she had grander ambitions. Even if generations to come do not remember Dolly Parton, the artist, and also once the actress, I believe she'll be known for what she did with the talent that she was given, the creation of Dollywood and the Imagination Library. With the success of her movie and singing career, Dolly became a very wealthy woman. She was a savvy businessman, but rather than buying multi-million-dollar homes and yachts, she invested her money in a place where she had grown up, and the people who lived there still resided. That investment not only changed her hometown, but has had a profound impact on millions of people throughout the world. While Dolly grew rich and traveled the world as an international superstar, the people of her home county remained poor. She wanted to use her good fortune to give back to that community by creating jobs there. She invested millions in an amusement park, later renamed Dollywood. She then invested each year millions more to build new attractions and exhibits. In fact, nearly $200 million has been invested since Dolly purchased the park in 1986. and another 200 to 300 million on lodging and hotels. Today, 2.5 million, almost 3, it's getting close to 3 million, visit the park each year, making it the #1 ticketed attraction in Tennessee, more than any other country visitation. Dollywood, owned by a woman born to one of the poorest families, is now the largest employer in the county. She is not quite done. In 1996, Dolly created the Imagination Library. While she was growing up, her family had few books, the Bible being the only source of the written word, and her father never learned to read or write, even though he was one of the smartest men she had ever met. In some ways, the Imagination Library was a foundation and charity established to honor her father, who is now deceased. The library was to become her lifelong project, created to ensure that any father could read to his child, and that the child could see and hear through books the type of person one should become and the possibilities that life has to offer. She once said about the Imagination Library that the seeds of dreams are found in books, and the seeds you help plant in your community can grow across the world. Dolly realized that few families in poor counties could have books in their home. She also realized how important it was for parents and the children to spend time together. It's an important bonding experience, she believed. Through books, she endeavored not only to provide enjoyment and learning experience for children through the ages of birth to 5, but also to encourage children and parents to spend precious time together. Such was the impetus to start the Imagination Library, using the profits she made from, where else? Dollywood, and also other successes. How does the Imagination Library work? When a child is born, the child receives his or her first book, which is The Little Engine That Could. Then every month thereafter, until the age of 5, the child receives a new book by mail. The very last book is Look Out, Kindergarten, Here I Come. Dolly's initial dream was to provide books for children in her own county. How that dream has grown. Today, more than 400,000 children in nearly every U.S. territory receive books from the Imagination Library each month. And there's programs in Canada and United Kingdom. Dolly's one of the wealthiest and most honored women in country music. She sold well over 100 million records and has over 30 gold and platinum records, including 30 #1 country singles. She's had 41 top 10 country albums and over 100 charted singles. She's received 7 Grammys, 3 American Music Awards, 10 Country Music Awards, and 7 Academy of Country Music Awards. She's one of 7 female artists to win country music's highest award, which is the Entertainer of the Year, and has been nominated, as I mentioned, for 2 Academy Awards. She's been inducted into the Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame, the National Academy of Popular Music Hall of Fame, the National Academy of Songwriters Hall of Fame, one of the most prestigious, and the Country Music Hall of Fame, the Hall of Fame for country artists. She is a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame and has received the Living Legend Medal from the U.S. Library of Congress and the National Medal of Honor of Arts, which is the greatest honor given by the United States government for those in the arts. She's also received the Kennedy Center Award for the Performing Arts. In 30 or 60 or 100 years, the name Dolly Parton will mean much more than films or music. In fact, her legend as an entertainer may fade. Her contributions through Dollywood and the Imagination Library, however, one that benefits the lives of millions around the world, are unlikely to fade. People will enjoy fun and merriment at Dollywood, and families will come together, have some laughs, and cherish one special day they shared. That's at the amusement park. The Imagination Library would be a wholly different legacy. Dolly will touch others through that library, which will become part of our unique culture and time. Those who might not otherwise have had access to books or the opportunity for a parent to hold them while reading a story now have Dolly Parton to thank for that experience. She has touched the change of and changed lives, and no one has ever charged a penny for their books. And here's the most interesting and laudable trait of Dolly Parton. Of all those accolades, the one that Dolly is the most proud of is not a record or a movie or even the Imagination Library. It's a statue in her hometown. To express their appreciation for everything she's done and meant to that county, the citizens commissioned and placed a life-size statue of Dolly Parton on the steps of her county courthouse. She talks with great humility and pride of the days when she and her father would walk to the courthouse to see the statue. She also talks about times when her father, unbeknownst to her and her family, would walk to the courthouse with a bucket and brush to clean the statue. He was proud of his little girl. Dolly Parton made the world a better place, and her work all started with the voice in a book. I'm convinced that each and every day one of us can do the same, if only we have the dream of making a difference and the determination to make that dream come true. Thank you.